directions hard to find. Under the stars up in the sky. You and I, yeah, we're stars in the sky. You and I, yeah, we're stars in the sky. Take this, I don't wanna break this. We're living in the moment, we're living in the moment. Your head is on my shoulder, we're never getting older. Baby, it's you and you and yeah, we're stars in the sky. Oh, you and yeah, we're stars in the sky.
There we go. Someone's pressed the button and walked across on a red, so lucky it doesn't stay red arrow for long. I think it's time to get a coffee. And that was Ototo with you and I. And it's time to get a coffee. And I have never actually driven through the drive-through coffee here at Taste My Bean. So time to give it a crack. I've gone in and bought plenty. I'm just not a real fan of drive-throughs, but why not? Oh well, can I please have medium mocha, please? No, just that. Thank you. Painless. Well, I haven't paid for it yet, but geez, coffees are getting expensive these days. Wow, this is what it looks like out the back here. Never. All right, they did say the second window. And it does say on the sign up there, please drive through to the second window. There you go. Oh, I see an Impreza up there. Oh, it's not a Rexy. Just hiding around the corner, waiting for their coffee. Anyway, what are we doing today? Well, it's been... Well, the last live stream was exciting. That was in my mate Brandon's Lotus Exige 410 Cup car. That was pretty cool. Having a quick little spirited blaster around the Gold Coast, and that was good fun. But that was the first time I'd done a live stream directly from the mobile phone, and I quickly realised once I started watching it back that I definitely needed the gimbal, which I do have. I just haven't really used it much. So I'll crack that out and charge it up and I there's definitely a place in the live stream to use the mobile phone, especially if we get to a car meet and we go for a walk around the car meet. I think that will be the next step when it comes to car meets. Anyway, Sunday morning, we are going for a drive. Weekend driving on the motorways is a lot different to driving the motorways on the weekdays. A lot more, like people that drive on the weekday, especially at peak hour, are driving with purpose to get to work on time or to get home as quickly as possible. That's the majority, obviously. That's not everybody, but the majority. And the weekend is different. Weekend is a lot of people just cruising around. Just not necessarily in a rush. Some people are, obviously. But it's a little bit more relaxed. But I think there is more people on the road on the weekends that might not drive. They might catch public transport through the week and then decide to go for a drive on the weekend. And I'm going to say that there's a lot more people on the roads on the weekends that aren't the most skilled drivers out there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we'll what else can I do? Firstly, Assailant 1. Welcome. Thank you for subscribing. The last person to subscribe. They've also put a message in there. I haven't quite read all the way through it yet. Something about not liking. One of the posts that I talk about, they don't like the same thing. I think it was driving with no lights on at night or something like that, maybe. I need to have a good look at it. G'day. My headset's bigger than yours. Oh, yes, it is. It is the Media Mocker. Thank you. No, I'm live streaming. I'm live streaming. Laptop, cameras. I'm right. Literally live streaming right there. I'm in your driveway. Yeah. I tell you what, I just said, this is the first time I've been through the drive-through. But I usually just walk in and get my coffees. Yeah. Yeah, we will. So, awesome. Good on you. No worries. Looking forward to it. I want to say thank you to Rodrigo. I do know him from work. he subscribed on Friday morning. So, well done, Rodrigo. Thank you, mate. Hopefully you'll jump on the stream and have a bit of a watch from time to time. So... tough sounding Dodge Ram. Do like a tough sounding Dodge Ram. Can hear a little bit of feedback through these headphones. They did glitch out on me last stream. I did bring a spare set this time that I can swap in just in case. The right ear kept dropping out, which is very disconcerting. I feel very unbalanced when that happens. But we'll see. We'll see if it's the headphones. They're brand new, so they're under warranty. So we'll see if we need to send them back or if it's something else. I would normally, but I'm on a no sugar diet. So, but thank you. I mean, I say that, but there's chocolate in my coffee. I know. I need to limit the sugar. Awesome. Thank you. Have a great Sunday. See ya. Coffee time. That's a question that I did hear on the radio. I think it was on Triple M over the week. Was driving whilst eating or drinking? Driving whilst eating or drinking? I'll just move the mic away from my face just for a second. Yeah, that's one of the coffees that I like. Way better than Macca's. Way better than Macca's. If you've just joined us, welcome. I've just gone through the Taste My Bean drive-through to grab myself a coffee, and then we will head out along Sandgate Road until we get to the motorway, and then we'll see how that goes. It's that time on a Sunday morning where the motorway should be a little bit congested. Around the 10 o'clock, just after 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, heading up the sunny coast. I think the last couple of times I've done it, I've tried to leave later, so I wouldn't get caught up in the crappy traffic. Ah, good coffee, this one. Although, silly me, I do have a coffee cup holder right here. And I've put stuff in it. Oi! Sorry, mate. Wow, everyone's doing U-turns. Everyone's doing U-turns. That was lucky I looked. Was right where my A-pillar is. So as they come around the corner, I glanced. The A-pillar does get in the way. But it's something you need to look around quite often. Especially with pedestrians, they tend to be a little bit skinnier than a car, and they tend to be obscured by the A-pillar quite often. So. All right, let's see how the technology goes today. I'm fingers crossed it all works. And the batteries don't run out straight away. The new laptop is great because it's brand new battery, brand new software, everything like that. So it seems to be doing all right. I did have an issue with my ambient mic, which I'm using the wireless, the Rode wireless mic, and we'll take this lane. Issue with that is I hadn't charged them. Both the transmitter and receiver were both flat, so I've plugged them both in, which is the first time I've done that. So they're actually plugged into that's a nice AE86 Togue number plates. That's cool. That's a really nice one. Just turned up the driveway to the IGA. So I've got power banks plugged into both transmitter and receiver on the wireless mic. So not only are they connected with, obviously they're being charged, but they should stay and remain charged for quite some time. Like, I've heard they've got like an 8-hour sort of battery life when you're using them. I think last time I used them, I did 2 streams in a row and didn't charge them in between. So then they've sat around for a week. So they were, they didn't want to play the game. What else? Oh, my main lithium battery was flat. But I used to have a bus. It was an old, it was old. Yeah, it was old. Older than me. was a 1972 Bedford school bus that had been converted into a motorhome with this really cool feature that the back dropped down into a ramp and you could drive vehicles into the back. Cars, motorcycles, probably a car as well. I know it was built for a Jibney to drive into the back of. So the people who built it back in the 90s, modified it, they built it to put a Jimny in the back. Rather than towing a Jimny around on a trailer, they tucked it in the back. I didn't pay much for it, but once I got it home, I've spent the last sort of 12 months trying to see if it's worth fixing. And after pulling all the internal linings off, I realised that the rust in it was too much. So, lucky for me, straight across the road, well, there's a Monaro. Need this lane anyway. Across the road from my warehouse is a metal recyclers. So they gave me $1,000 for it. But I did have 2 brand new truck batteries, and this is the segue. I had 2 brand new truck batteries, big suckers. And so I've got one of them sitting in the boot running an inverter. The inverter is plugged into a power board, which is powering pretty much everything in here besides the other power bank. So all the big stuff. So the laptop computer, the soundboard, and the video switcher are all plugged into the lithium battery, which is currently being charged by the inverter. It's it's a juggle of wires, let's be honest. I did contemplate washing the car. It does need a wash, but I might do that tonight. Just around sunset. It's getting a bit too warm to wash a car now. All right, Sunshine Coastbound. Let's have a little check on Waze. Let's type in. Let's go towards Gympie. That's a fair drive and probably a good north side destination to head to. Over 100 k's away. 132 kilometres. And we'll just see what the traffic's doing on the highway. And chat to whoever is out there watching that wants to jump on the live chat. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you want to jump on the live chat, you need to subscribe, and then it'll tell you to wait a few minutes, wait 5 minutes, and then you can jump on the live chat. So far, the headphones have held up. But we'll see how long. We'll see. We're just going to drive until all the batteries go flat. I did have at one stage, the battery in this Lexus is like most cars, the battery's under the bonnet. So to use an inverter, you need to run cables out from under the bonnet somehow, whether you run that through the firewall or under the car, or I actually had it just coming out of the edge rear corner of the bonnet and then up and then through the window. So there was a cable hanging out. That was, yeah. It's made it a bit awkward trying to open and shut doors and stuff like that. So I quickly got rid of that. Did live stream in my Passat wagon a couple of times. The beep wagon. That after I got rid of the beeps by dismantling the dashboard and ripping the speaker out of the instrument cluster. That was good because the battery's mounted in the back left, and could put the inverter directly on the battery. But traffic's all right. Could connect the inverter directly to the battery. So whilst you're driving around, battery's being charged by the car. Inverter's working off that, charging the lithium battery. It was all good. It was all good. However, that's my work car. And I'm always throwing tools in it and carry on. And I sometimes have passengers. So, and I wanted to permanently set up the cameras in a vehicle. So I could just jump in, turn it on and go. Wow, I mean, there's a bit of setup, obviously. So hence I'm using one of the 2 truck batteries in the boot, strapped in. And we'll see how long it lasts for, because nothing's charging it. It doesn't have any charging happening at the moment. So obviously I'll stick the trickle charger back on it tonight. OBS is having fun. Disconnecting and reconnecting. That's a shame. But successfully reconnected, and so I'm not sure how much that glitched out on the stream. Now that I'm running through Restream, we'll find out. Traffic is it's definitely more than medium, getting towards heavily congested. We're sitting on just over 80 and 100 zones, so I'm assuming traffic will slow down quite a bit where we merge into the Bruce Highway. And that's the thing, once we get around the corner, up and over the overpass, and then sweep onto the Bruce Highway, it's 2 lanes into 4, but the 4th lane, as in the first lane, I should say, becomes the off-ramp for Dolly's Rocks Road. So obviously there's a few cars that want to take the off-ramp, but most cars are going to want to go straight. So you'll have cars from the 3rd and 4th lane trying to get into the 1st lane to take the off-ramp, and you've got cars in the 1st and 2nd lane trying to squeeze into the 2nd, 3rd and 4th lanes to go north. So you not only do you have weaving traffic, you've got 4 lanes into 3, and it definitely gets congested down here. With the big K Whopper, the Kenworth sitting next to me, providing me with a little bit of shade until now. So there's not a lot of traffic coming from Brisbane. But because most people are not very good at merging in congested traffic, it will still be a bit crazy. And then, yep, as you see, the Mitsubishi behind me wanted to overtake me and accelerate, so therefore I couldn't pull over. And now I'll do the same thing to the Kona so that we can get up to speed. Oh, the lady in the Kona can barely see over the dashboard. There she comes. Jump in behind me, Lynn. Seriously, she's barely looking over the steering wheel. So many people don't know that they can lift their seats up in their vehicles. But then I can't reach the pedals. There's definitely a optimal driving position that you want to be sitting in, so that when you stop behind a vehicle at a set of traffic lights, you can still see that vehicle's tyres where they contact the road and only be not more than 5 meters behind that vehicle. So if you're sitting so low that looking out over the vehicle, over the dashboard and the bonnet, you can't see where the tyres touch the road on the vehicle in front of you when it's only 5 meters in front of you, well, you should change your seating position. But I don't know that driving instructors teach a lot about how to set up your driving position. I'm not sure some do. North Lakes is the next off-ramp. And that is a pretty popular place to take an exit. Quite often a lot of traffic in the left lane will take that exit. Invariably, there's somebody in the right lane that will want to try and take that exit too and cut everybody off to get across. And what it can do is, if you're heading north, it will free up the left-hand lane a little bit. There we go. Like the 4 or 5 cars in front of me all took that exit. So, like I said, it frees up the left-hand lane a little bit. So that I can enjoy my coffee in peace without being too close to the car in front. Spendo and the Malibu Caravan. There's a Jeep that hasn't instantaneously combusted yet. Right, so the 80 k's an hour roadworks is ends not far up here. But I'm assuming, and I should check it out, but I'm assuming they're adding a 4th lane. Here we go, 100 k's and roadworks. Right, so whilst we're on the motorway, and I've got enough fuel to get me a couple 100 k's, keep left unless overtaking. So I'll speak for Queensland specifically, but the rules are pretty much the same all around the country, even though they're written slightly differently. Let's get a little bit more specific. So if there's one thing that upsets a lot of drivers, it's the number one thing. It's people on the motorway that can't, for some reason, keep left unless overtaking. So in that one line, what it's supposed to mean is to keep left on the motorway whilst you're not overtaking. But when you are overtaking, you should be on the right. You should be overtaking on the right. That way, people know, like you can predict what's going to happen. So I won't say no, people know, but people can have a reasonable prediction about what drivers are going to do. But as you can see here, most drivers, the slowest drivers for some reason, like to drive in the middle lane. Now, I think that reason is because they don't like to try and deal with the people that can't merge, that come in from the left, or even the people that can't take off ramps at the posted speed and then slow down. So, but what that means is all of the more careful, cautious, slower drivers drive in the middle lane, which actually slows traffic down as a whole and creates more congestion. So, but people don't understand that, and the road rules don't. The road rules are more there for safety. Nice indicating there, Cherry. The road rules are there more for safety rather than trying to get traffic getting to where they want to go, making a lane change with as much efficiency as possible. So now I spy, with my little eye, a Willys Jeep. Freaking awesome. I mean, he's only doing about 70 or 80 Ks an hour, so give him a wave. There's the new Mini. I was just talking about them yesterday. Actually, Tim, I was talking to Tim yesterday whilst I was getting a coffee yesterday morning. Hadn't met him, but I'd seen his Mini, or his partner's Mini, driving around a heap around town. I remembered his number plate and the car. And we were talking about the new Mini, but we were also talking about the differences as he grew up in Britain and learnt to drive over there. The differences between the way we drive here and the way they drive over there, and how it's so inefficient here because we don't have variable lanes, speeds. So, for instance, we do have variable speeds, but it's the whole road. Whether it's 100, 110, or it slows down to 80, 60, 40, the problem is all of the lanes are the same speed, which doesn't make sense. Because if all the lanes, and I believe here comes a speed camera. Hello, speed camera. If all of the lanes are going the same speed, well, by rights, if everyone was sitting exactly on 100 kilometres an hour, there cannot be any overtaking. It couldn't happen. It's physically impossible. Now, we know that's not the case because some people drive to 100 Ks an hour on their Speedo, which could be out up to 10 kilometres an hour, if not more. And other people use their GPS to drive. Other people want to drive 10 Ks below the posted speed, and other people want to drive 10 Ks over the posted speed, if not more. So there's our variety. However, that comes down to human error, or the differences and the nuances between people. But the rules, the road rules themselves, lead to congestion, and they, in my opinion, they need to change to be more like Europe, where each lane has a different speed. For instance, the way that would work is we would have 100 K an hour speed in the left lane, 110 Ks an hour speed in the middle lane, and 120 in the right lane. That way, you've got natural overtaking. Those that want to sit on 120 could do so. Those that want to sit on a 110 can do so. Those that like to drive slow can sit in the left-hand lane and sit on 100. And there's a lot of other things. I've thought about this a fair bit. Things like learners can only use the left-hand lane because they're not allowed to drive more than 100. Once you get your Ps, you're allowed to do 110. So therefore, you can jump in the left lane and make an and you can overtake learners. That's progression. And then when you get your opens, then you qualify to use the fast lane, the 120 kilometre hour lane. Hey, look, I wish it was more. And as people hit their brakes as they go past the speed camera here, we're slowing down to 80 kilometres an hour in a 100 zone, literally because people are just... And what's going to happen as the congestion builds up more and more, it's going to end up a phantom traffic jam. Speed cameras are one of the worst things to create phantom traffic jams, and we should get rid of them. All of them. Get rid of all of the speed cameras. There is enough dash cams in people's vehicles that we can just use that. Anyway. If we had multi-speed lanes on our motorways, we can do away with the rule keep left unless overtaking. Because if you want to sit on 120, you can sit in the right-hand lane and do 120. The thing with that is the cultural difference, and I think you need a rule change to create a bit of cultural change. But the cultural change with that is then if you go and drive in Europe, like in Britain or in Germany, and you're driving in the fast lane, but a car that's going faster than you comes up behind you, you get out of their way. You give way to them. But for some reason, Australia has this thing called the tall poppy syndrome, and people don't like to get out of other people's way. Some do, of course. I do. If I'm sitting on a speed and someone comes up behind me, as soon as I've got the time to get across into a left lane, I'll do that and let them go. The last thing I want to do is create road rage. because bad things can happen. And maybe I know from experience. That's another story for another day. Or maybe later in the stream. So checking up on the on-ramp at the moment. There's no traffic coming, so I don't need to worry about anyone trying to merge. And that's what a lot of people will do too. As you come past an on-ramp, especially if you're in the left-hand lane, have a look. Or even worse, a massive issue that happens all the time is someone might be sitting in the middle lane or the right lane. So here we got the middle lane. And what will happen is they'll decide to do a lane change into the left-hand lane at the same time that someone's trying to merge on from an on-ramp. And there's almost, if not, accidents happen, because that is one of the worst times to try and change into the left-hand lane, when you are literally adjacent to an on-ramp. It's one thing to do it when there's no traffic, okay, no problems. If you've looked and you've seen there's no vehicles on the on-ramp, obviously, but it's just bad practice. If you're the type of person that will make a lane change from a right-hand lane into a left lane adjacent to an on-ramp, there's a good chance you'll probably do that whilst there's traffic there, because most people aren't mindful enough to check. As my coffee gets down to a very drinkable temperature. It's like they made it knowing I wanted to sip on it for the next half an hour. So they made it just hot enough to sip at the start, and now it's just perfect. All right, so keep left and less overtaking. Whilst we don't have variable multi-lane speeds, we obviously need to drive to the road rules we currently have, which is keep left and less overtaking. And I'll state it specifically because this is, like I said, one of the road rules that if I ask 100 people, what's one thing that really upsets you on the road, this is number one. As a P-plater, get up to speed, P-plater. You need to merge at the posted speed, so you need to get up to 100. Come on, get up there. You'll slot in behind me, but get up to 100. Now, I will take the middle lane, whilst the car in the right-hand lane isn't keeping... Oh, there you go. I'll let them jump in behind me. Just give them a bit of a wave to let them know I saw them and that they can jump in behind me. They did the right thing. A lot of people tend to do that, hit their indicator and sort of as you start to steer, you do a head check and then you realise there's a car there and then whoop, get back in your lane. I think we've all done it. All right, so keep left and less overtaking. So on single lane roads, you must stay as close as practical to the left-hand side of the road. So that's single lanes. But I think we all know that. But on multi-lane roads, if the posted speed is 90 kilometres an hour or over, and yes, other states write it differently, but it's the same all around the country. 90 kilometres an hour or over. Or if the road has a keep left and less overtaking sign, you must not drive in the right-hand lane unless you are, okay? And we'll go through those points. For instance, the first point is overtaking. So I'm currently overtaking. I'd say that's a hire car. So that's something else I like to look out for too. That's a hire car to the left of me. So that's a person who might not know and understand the vehicle they're driving very well because it's not their usual car. So keep left and less overtaking. We'll say it again. It means that you can't drive in the right-hand lane unless you are doing it, unless there's a bunch of things, and we'll go over that. But what it also means is that if you had a 10-lane highway I know I'm going a bit overboard, but if you had a 10-lane highway, keep left means that you can literally sit in the 9th lane with Queensland's road rules. Every lane to the left of the right-hand overtaking lane is considered keeping left. So, for instance, let's say there's a farmer carting some hay bale there in the back of the Amarok. So, for instance, the Kia in front of me just stayed in the middle lane because that's the road rules. The road rules state you can be in any lane other than the right-hand lane, which is the overtaking lane. However, what that does is vehicle traffic is like fluid dynamics. And if you've got something in the middle going slower than the outside, it slows everything down and it actually creates congestion. Now, it's not so bad when it's light traffic like we are literally right here at this point in time. As the Hilux is starting to get a bit closer behind me, so I'll give the Kia enough space and I'll come over to the middle lane. Because I know this Hiluxes want to come past. So now I've given the Mitsubishi van some space, and now I jump in the left lane because to me, keeping left is being in the left-hand lane. If there is no other traffic, keep left means being left. The middle lane isn't left. However, that isn't what the road rules are at the moment. So unfortunately, and so the Hilux there just sitting in the right-hand lane is a very good example of not keeping left unless overtaking. Just sitting in the right-hand lane. They should have at least pulled into the middle lane. That way, that's the road rules. What they're currently doing now, they can be pulled over and fined for. As I check the on-ramp, as a Holden Cruise is about to come onto the highway. So let's go through the list. So keep left unless overtaking means you can be in any of the left-hand lanes except for the actual right-hand overtaking lane. Unless you're overtaking, point 1. Point 2, turning right. So not usually close to city centres, but as you get further out of a city, there may be a right-hand turn. Or, for instance, in 400 metres from now, there's a little X, a sign with a cross on it. That's a crossover point, only to be used for emergency services, police, fire brigade, ambulance, all that. Authorised vehicles accepted. Tow trucks, trust me, Red will tell me. That's also a contraflow crossover point. So as a normal civilian, you can't use those. However, there is an opportunity there for a vehicle that might need to slow down to turn right across the middle traffic island between the highway lanes. So therefore, turning right, or outside of city centres, there are right-hand turns. They'll usually have an off, like a bit of a turning lane, usually built long enough so that they can start taking the turning lane and slow down from the posted speed. I know down in New South Wales, whenever there's a right-hand turn that goes across the highway speed will be reduced from 110 down to 100. And that's how I know that there's a lane coming up, like a turning lane to the right. Usually there might be one to the left as well. But you don't have to you can be in the right-hand lane if you're going to make a right-hand turn, and that does happen. Number 3, making a U-turn. That's basically the same as turning right. So if you can make a legal U-turn from the right-hand lane on a multi-lane road that is over 90 kilometres an hour, or 90 or over, then obviously you'll need to be in the right-hand lane to make that. Avoiding an obstruction. So if there's, for instance, if you're in 2 lanes, which is about to come up, because we'll go from 3 lanes to 2 after Steve Irwin Way. If you need to avoid an obstruction, and Waze is really good for this. Waze, usually, people are pretty good and they'll report on Waze whether there's an obstruction on the road. Then you can't tell which lane it might be in, but at least you can keep an eye out. So I'd say the Hyundai in front isn't keeping left unless overtaking. There's a prime example of not doing the right thing because they should have been in the left-hand lane. So avoiding an obstruction. if there was an obstruction coming up in the left-hand lane, obviously I'd need to take the right-hand lane to avoid obstruction. So there's a reason to. I'm also going to say an obstruction might be a vehicle like that Willie's Jeep just earlier that was driving, doing about 70 or 80 k's an hour in the left-hand lane. I mean, we could call that just overtaking, but I'd almost call that an obstruction because that vehicle is going quite slow. For obvious reasons, it probably can't go much faster. All right, the next one, driving in congested traffic. Now, I'm going to come back to this one. And then the last one says using a special purpose lane that you are allowed to be in. So for instance, if you're in a transit lane, I know in Melbourne, there's transit lanes to the right, but you're only allowed to be in that lane if you have the correct amount of people in your vehicle. Also, I think if you're on riding motorcycle, you're allowed to be in there, or if you're like a limo or another sort of driver. There we go. So I'd say that the, let's just say the Hyundai was actually trying to pass the BMW, giving the BMW a chance to get into the left-hand lane and do the right thing, but BMW didn't do the right thing and is just sitting in the right-hand lane. Oh my God, look at it now, people. A BMW using their indicator. You saw it here live. Incredible. You don't see that often, so it's a special day, people. It's a special day. So using a special purpose lane, you can use the right-hand lane without overtaking if it's a transit lane, for instance. And you can be there because you've got the correct amount of people, whether it's T2 or T3. I don't think I've ever seen a T4 lane. But let's come back to the second last point, which is driving in congested traffic. So then the point becomes, what is congested traffic? Now, a reasonable person would say, well, it's when there's a lot of cars and trucks and bikes and what have you. But there has to be a legal point. There has to be a legal point where congested traffic is a specific thing. So, for instance, if a policeman pulls me up for driving in the right-hand lane, I have to prove one of those points, that I was going to turn right, make a U-turn, driving in a special purpose lane, blah, blah, blah. Or, again, oh my God, that's 2 in a row. 2 BMWs using their indicator. Incredible, incredible. Let's see if the next BMW, if we can make it 3 in a row. That would be an amazing day. Hey, I'm giving crap to BMW drivers, but I have owned a BMW before, and yes, I used my indicator, so. Anyway, let's get back to it. Driving in congested traffic. Are we currently in congested traffic? If this is considered congested traffic, then I could just sit in the right-hand lane. But me personally, I don't consider this congested. I think if you are still doing the posted speeds, sitting on 100, 110, I don't consider that congested traffic. I think when the traffic builds up enough and then you start to have to slow down because of phantom traffic jams or an accident or this, that, what have you, then that would be congested. Now, we're slowing down now because there was a speed camera. I'll jump back in the... and look, I'm changing lanes, but I've checked. There's an on-ramp just there. I did change lanes adjacent to an on-ramp, but I double-checked. There was no vehicles on the on-ramp. So it's a habit. I don't like doing it, but I definitely wanted to occupy the left-hand lane, and so I double-checked up the on-ramp to make sure that there was no cars coming. Best part about live streaming this right now is that I'm actually not in a hurry to be anywhere. I don't have a timing to be anywhere in particular, so there's no rushing for me. There's no needing to try and get like just driving with that, that attitude of I need to get to where I'm going as quickly as possible. As I see that my OBS is trying to disconnect and connect again, I might. There's a fair bit of traffic on the road. It might just, I don't know why. I don't know why it does it. Can be a bit temperamental sometimes, is what other live streamers have told me. So driving in congested traffic, you do not have to keep left unless overtaking. So then, well, there's a motorcycle just tucked in on the barrier there. I wonder if they broke down or just simply ran out of fuel. I don't like seeing motorcycles. I don't like seeing any vehicles. I said this last stream. I had Ellie, amazing Japanese friend. She was in the car with me, and she was just mentioning how many broken down cars there were on the side of the road. As there's one just here, a Nissan X-Trail with the bonnet up on the side of the road. And she was just amazed. We drove from Brisbane, North Brisbane, to Coolangatta Airport. So let's just call it for, you know, round figures 100 kilometres. She could not believe the amount of broken down vehicles on the side of the road. And I had to, like, I've been to Japan, and it's one of my favourite countries to visit. And I had to say to her, well, Japan has a rule that once your car is certain age and certain kilometres, that it costs more to register. So therefore, most people are driving brand new cars that are still under warranty. So it's rare to have a breakdown in Japan. Whereas there's plenty of old jalopies in Australia, so there's plenty of cars breaking down. So driving in congested traffic, it definitely comes down to the definition of congested. Now, if there's one thing I need to do, it's to actually look up the TMR Road Rules Handbook and see if they actually have definitions. They would have to, because for legal reasons. I know Maxi, one of my moderators a few streams ago, looked up the definition of give way. Again, to me, giving way means that if I can do a move on a road, like turn a corner at a give way sign, or I mean, you're giving away not just when there's give way signs or stop signs, but you give way everywhere. And what does give way mean? Well, it means to me, give way means that if I can make a move and somebody else doesn't need to take evasive action, as in they don't need to hit the brakes or turn or avoid a collision, well, then I'm giving way. That's how I see it. But that isn't how the rule book says it. The rule book basically says as long as you've got time and space to make a move, do it as long as it doesn't cause a collision. So what that to me means, that if I see a car coming and I pull out and I know that car can hit the brakes without hitting me, they've got enough time to make an emergency stop without hitting me and avoiding a collision. Therefore, I could just pull out in front, and as long as they hit the brakes and don't hit me, well, then I've given way. And that doesn't seem right. That doesn't make sense to me. So I'm going to go through and have a look at the definition of all of the states. Might do that this evening whilst watching the Belgian Grand Prix. Good on you, Oscar Piastri, starting from the front row. Spoiler alert. You know it's a good mocha. I mean, it's not cold, it's still nice, but you know it's good if you you still have half a coffee left in the morning and you drink it cold and it just tastes like a chocolate milk. That's a good mocha. I might also just have a look at my fuel usage. This Lexus, which I do plan on giving away, and I'll talk about that a little bit. I want to finish up on the congested traffic thing first, because that is one thing I really I want to get nailed. Because, speaking of getting nailed, there's some dead kangaroo just on the left there. Nailed. So we'll come back to that. I'll definitely research both the giving way and what that actually means, and also congested traffic, that if a police officer pulls me over or pulls anyone over and says, I'm fining you for not driving, for not keeping left unless overtaking, and you can prove that you were driving in congested traffic, well, then you would get off that, you'd get off that fine. The way that I read the rules. So then it comes down to what a personal, like, it can't be an opinion. That's the thing. It has to be written in black and white. What does congested traffic mean? If I can prove that it was congested traffic, but the police officer doesn't think it was congested traffic, what is the definition of congested traffic? Otherwise, I could just drive and just say, well, there was one other car on the road, a kilometre in front of me. I consider that congestion. So definitely a good talking point, and something I'd like to chat to, like talk to people on the live chat. But you know what? I don't think I've ever done a Sunday morning, and I'll tell you why. I've never, that I can remember, done a proper Sunday morning drive. I did to Muscle on the Mountain, but that wasn't live because my laptop literally crapped itself that weekend. I did a live stream up on the Saturday afternoon to Budrum, and then went to do a live stream on the Sunday morning to Muscle on the Mountain at Mullaney, and my laptop was gone. Well, it was gone for charge. Wouldn't charge in the car. It still works. It charges from a house GPO, but won't charge off of the inverter. So I couldn't use it. So I filmed it on the GoPro and then uploaded it later. So it wasn't live, but it was still pretty cool in the 500 horsepower XD Falcon, which was got a lot of looks there. I was actually quite surprised at how many people came up and checked it out, considering it's a rusty bucket of bolts. Thank you, OBS, for struggling but working at the same time. So is that, oh, those number plates are so dark. Are they pink? Pink and black? Pixie 84. They're so hard to see from a distance, but she looks like a pixie. And there's Teagues. Hey, Teagues. All right, now we go from, there's an off-ramp here to Caloundra and Steve Irwin Way, but now we go from 2 lanes to 3. And funnily enough, it's the first lane that opens up new. And what most people will do is not use it. They'll just sit in the, people who were in the left-hand lane, like this Triton, they don't go across to the left-hand lane. They just sit in the middle lane. Could be because just around the corner here, there's an on-ramp. And so it's a way of staying out of the on-ramp traffic. Still 110 through here, so obviously the on-ramp traffic is trying to speed up to the 110. Oh. And in behind me, multiple cars deciding to just make their lane changes over the unbroken lines. That's one thing that shits me. I mean, yes, it's just a painted line, but it's there. The reason why the government and the TMR wasted more paint there is because they deem it unsafe to make a lane change there. So we'll look at unbroken lines too, and when you can and when you can't cross them. That's a good one. We'll do that one a bit later. I did touch on this Lexus. Just going to check out the fuel economy. averaging 9.4, but that's not highway. That's combined. So let me reset it. There we go. So it's sitting on 0. Oh no, they went 6.9. 6.9 litres per 100 kilometres. That's almost instant. That's averaged over, 5.7. Obviously, that will average out, but we'll have a look at that in a little while. This is a 450 horsepower, 5-litre V8. Obviously, fuel injected, but injected both port and direct injection. And this is one of the most fuel economical cars I've ever owned. As I check out the S2000, cool car, man, cool car. This is one of the most fuel economical cars I've ever owned. I drove this back from Sydney earlier this year. I've taken it down that way a couple of times. I drove back from Canberra, but between Sydney and Brisbane, this thing averages 6.9 litres per 100 kilometres. I've also driven a Mini Cooper S, which is a 1.6 litre supercharged 4-cylinder. Actually, I tell a lie. The Mini averaged 6.9. The Lexus, with over double the horsepower and not quite double the weight, averaged 6.8 litres per 100 kilometres. And that, yeah. The fuel economy in this car is awesome. So I'll give these cars on the on-ramp some space. Long on-ramp. I know it's 2-lane on-ramp, but give them some space. Right, so from the Mooloolaba turnoff, which we've just passed, heading north now, we will... Now, I've done this trip. I've done the trip to Hervey Bay, heading north, and it did get a bit glitchy from time to time, but we didn't actually lose transmission until we got to a little town called, I can't remember, where the Christmas, Tyro, that's it. We actually lost transmission at just as we were coming into Tyro, so we pulled back over and got it going again, and then we were good all the way into Hervey Bay. Now I'm trying to remember if that was Telstra or Optus we were using, as my router doesn't seem to be failing over, but again, something I need to look at. But I am going through Restream, which, yeah, so we'll find out. We'll find out if that makes a difference. But I'm going to say, with the weather that it currently is here in southeast Queensland, that most people are out enjoying themselves on this beautiful Sunday morning as we come through Forest Glen. So it's 110 k's an hour, exactly right there. And yeah, sort of proof that maybe still most people are using their speedos to do 110 instead of GPS. Maybe, I mean, I have quad lock. I have quad locks. Oh, Ducati. I have quad locks on my motorcycles and scooters. So my phone's there, and I use my GPS on the phone, so I can glance down and check GPS speed to speedo speed. Is that a 1098? Nice. He's on the on ramp. He's on the off ramp, so we'll come over. I definitely want a Ducati. That's on the shopping list. I have a Japanese Suzuki V-Twin 1000 at the moment, but definitely an Italian. Do have an Italian in the warehouse at the moment, an SR125 scooter Aprilia. It's a bit banged up and needs some work, but it does start and run. Definitely needs an exhaust system. That's the first thing I realised once it got it going. It was loud as hell. Assuming hell is loud. Road's a bit rough there. Look at that. I could make a phone call and see if one of my friends is at home. Might do that quickly when I get up to Gympie. There we go. There's a little bit of glitching. I can see the stream sort of stop starting. Just quickly. But it's definitely stopped starting. So there is one thing I can do. Is might take the next exit and just stick the antenna on top of the car. I've just got it sitting up the on the pack parcel shelf. But you know what? What's the next exit? Is it Yandina? What's the next one? Nambour? Let's cruise through Nambour. I know we're doing some motorway driving, but that's also going to involve taking off ramps and on ramps. So let's go through Nambour, then we'll pop out the other end and jump back on the motorway. I think it's a good idea. We'll do that up at Gympie as well. So I've got the Lexus. Oh, hello, Mustang. Check out the Mustang coming up on the right. Oh, I just realised something. Something I was supposed to fix, which is that the rear view camera, I think, is the wrong way around. It's the correct way for a camera, but the wrong way for a mirror, I believe. So I will pull over in Nambour somewhere, maybe at a servo quickly. Actually, you know what? Maybe I get some fuel. I was just going to say the Lexus has the adaptive cruise control on, so I am no pedal driving at the moment, and the vehicle is staying the exact same distance behind the Jimny because of the radar. I know there's a lot of new cars out there now with the adaptive cruise control and the radar, but there's still also a lot of people that don't know about it and don't use it. Alrighty, off ramp. So we'll take the second exit, which is So not the sewage treatment plant works road. Who's going to enter the roundabout? I'll let the Falcon go. You didn't really have to get that close to me, Toyota. Not give me much space to merge into. Where else was I going to go? I wouldn't say. Well, okay, according to the road rules, she gave way because we didn't crash. So maybe I put some fuel in, grab a drink, put the antenna on the outside of the vehicle, and hopefully that gives us a little bit better reception. And cruise through Nambour all at the same time. Oh, we're at the top end. Right, so don't worry about Nambour. We've already passed it. Nambour's to the left. We want to go right. So we'll go to Yandina. But we will look for a BP, because that is my preferred. Must say I haven't taken that exit very often in my life. But I do remember a couple of times. So as soon as I got here, I remembered where I am. So yeah, let's we'll cruise down into Yandina. There's a BP somewhere. But yeah, but that's. I don't think the antenna is a reason why OBS likes to disconnect and reconnect. Don't know why the Falcon's driving so slow. I think that might actually have a handicap sticker in the front window. I don't know if that has to mean anything. I don't necessarily think it means they're a handicapped driver. Don't know. I don't think it means they're allowed to drive 20 kilometres an hour slower than the posted speed. So, I do believe this is the old Bruce Highway. Nambour Golf Club. I don't play golf. Although I did watch Happy Gilmore 2 yesterday. Funny. Thank you, Netflix. So I didn't have to specifically pay for it, because paying $30 to go to the cinemas to watch that, it's not like it's a big screen experience like Top Gun Maverick was, or the F1 movie was, or some of those awesome movies. I mean, it was funny, but again, not a lot of sequels are as funny as the first one. Within comedies, obviously. So I say, as a comedy, not quite as funny as the first one, but it's also hard because you kind of half predict what's going to happen. Although I will say, the one thing I think they did try to do was make it so that you couldn't tell if he was going to try and hit a golf ball, whether he would hit it or whether he'd stuff it up. Kept you in suspense for a couple of seconds whilst they did the slow-mo. And then it's like, oh, okay, is he going to hit this one or is he going to not hit this one? still, funny movie. Glad I didn't have to pay $30 to watch it. Put it that way. All right, look in the rearview mirror. Is that frozen? Is my rearview mirror frozen? Oh, it's turned off. Come on, the battery was full. What's going on? Right. Right. That rear view camera is the bane of my live streaming existence. One of. The battery was fully charged, and was it not working just before? Anyway, we will check it out. There's I believe a BP up here on the right. That being the case, let's stop, get some fuel. I'll grab a drink. We won't stop live streaming, but I was going to fix that camera up. Now I have to fix that camera up. Remember which side the fuel fill is on this car? Drive so many vehicles, I can't remember sometimes which side the fuel fill is on. Oh, cool combi. Not a splitty, but still cool. Looks all rusted out. That's pretty cool. Oh, might just be able to see it coming this direction behind the Falcon wagon. Might just have a glimpse of it. There you go. How long have we been streaming for? I literally just finished my coffee. So my coffee lasted. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to say the girl driving that combi. Beautiful. So was the combi. Right, so the BP's on the right, I believe. So let's see if we can just drive straight into it, or if we need to do UE, or... There it is down there. Well, there is a turning lane down here. It's there. Might as well use it. Look, there's a little gap right here. This is where you're supposed to turn. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, and the Land Cruiser followed me. There you go. They did the right thing after they saw me do it. All right. I'll be back shortly. Hey, mum and daughter's vlog. Who's that? What's going on? Hello. Wait, yes, you've caught me as I was at the petrol station putting more fuel in. So I wasn't in the car at the time, and the back camera wasn't working, so you couldn't see me out the back either. But I am back, and good on you for subscribing, mum and daughter's vlog. Might have to check out if you're vlogging. Might have to check out your YouTube as well. Obviously not while I'm driving. All right, so the one thing I'm doing just at the moment is I'm going to reverse the camera, because if I look through the mirror, that's what the rear view mirror should look like. Or is it the right way? So the road is on the incorrect side if I was looking in a mirror. So if you look at the cars coming behind me on the road at the moment will go up one side and then appear on the other side. So what I am to do is right click, go to transform here. Can I not do it? Oh, why? What's wrong with it? It won't let me do it. Do I need to deactivate it first? Oh, no, I need to unlock it. That's all right. So I'll activate it. There we go. There's the rear view mirror. I'll unlock it. All right. Properties, transform. Here we go. I need to flip horizontally. There we go. And now I'll lock it. Now, my rear view mirror is back to the orientation it should be, which is backwards for a camera, but forwards for a mirror. If that makes sense. Alrighty. So, full tank of fuel, or if you're from America, full tank of gas. Which sounds weird because when we say gas, we think of gas, not gasoline. Thank you. Alright, so we're heading north, which is right. Check out the Harley. It's going to stop for me. Yep. Thank you, mate. All right, we're back on the road. So we're just cruising through Yandina. But hi, mum and daughter's vlog. Great to have you here. So we'll cruise up through to the next railway crossing, because there's a railway line just to our right. And we'll need to go, we'll need to get on the other side of it to get back on the motorway. So, but Yandina, what a beautiful little town. I caught up with some friends of mine here a couple of weeks ago for recce, and ginger. Yandina's known for ginger. I also know a few wreckers up here too, which are pretty good. Sell some good parts. Righty. There's the train line, so we're going to go under it and pop up on the other side. Oh, I forgot to put my antenna on the roof. Oh, silly me. So, I'm turning here. I'll pull into the school car park drop-off pickup point on a Sunday because there's nothing here. Well, there's one person here. Just before the bus zone. All right, pop out and put this antenna up on the roof. Headset back on. And now let's see, where does Waze take us? Yep, okay. So back on the eastern side of the railway line, heading south to go north, as you do. Let's reset my trip meter. So I had gotten 430 odd Ks out of that tank driving around, combined driving. We're averaging 8.1 at the moment, but once we get back out on the highway, yeah, highway driving's definitely just under the 7s. Which is good for a 5-litre V8. Must say, the Japanese know how to build a V8. That's not to say that other people don't. I'm just saying they do. I think the new Lexus GT3 car is a twin-turbo V8. Pretty keen. I've only seen it with its camo livery at the moment, so I am pretty keen to see what it looks like. All right. Hopefully the ambient speaker's working well. Haven't really checked it up. So this apparently is a stopped car in about 200 meters. So I'm assuming it's on the on-ramp, on the side of the on-ramp, back onto the highway. Well, it's a truck, and it is definitely still there. And so I'll just come this side. So something's going on with these boys. Well, if the ambient's working, we'll hear it. We'll hear it there. So, police. So, it says police in 500 metres on Waze. Thank you, Waze. But I'm going to say it's just probably a speed camera, not the actual police. I think we need a difference between police and speed camera on the Waze. And there it is. That's different looking one. So I don't know what that one does specifically, but it is still there. So the left lane currently just sitting on 105. I'll let the RAV4 come past. Now that should be. Now have a look at the rear view mirror now that I've rearranged the orientation. It's coming up on the right hand side, and it will appear on the right hand side. So yes, I think what happened is when I got the new laptop and I had to redo all the settings. I hadn't done that setting and flipped the rear view camera. Now, so little step in the right direction. Little step in the right direction. So, I think what we'll do from here is we'll cruise up now that traffic's good. This is good. We'll cruise up to Gympie. We'll go up the Gympie bypass, and then we'll turn back in and come back into Gympie. We'll come back through Gympie. Now that Gympie has a bypass, there's a good chance that It's a lot more, oh well, I should say a lot less congested. Fuel at the moment, which I like to talk about every time I do a stream and I buy fuel at the moment, which I like to talk about every time I do a stream and if I buy fuel, it's good to talk about because that way we can track the fuel costs. So I only put I almost religiously only put BP 98 in almost all of my vehicles, and therefore it's a pretty good. Like comparing the prices is pretty good. Obviously, there's still differences between different petrol stations or gas stations to my American friends. And so that was just under $2.02. So 201.9 for premium unleaded. So I have bought it a couple of weeks ago. It was pretty low. I think I bought it for 169.9 for premium BP unleaded. I do know a few BPs that seem to be a little bit lower. The price is a little bit lower than others. So I do try to get to those ones when I can. I think I started talking about it before, which was as we have a car on the side of the road just here. Not a good day for Commodores. That's a hazard. So we put down car on shoulder there onto Waze to let other Wazers know. So but now we're back on the highway. I'll just hit the, we'll get highway only average and see if we can keep it below 7 litres per 100 kilometres. If you're American, that's, I don't know the miles per gallon for that. 7 litres per 100 kilometres. I'm sure there's an app to convert it to miles per gallon. Well, you just got to find out how many litres in a gallon and how many kilometres in a mile. Do that in my head. Right. Learn how to embarrass myself on international YouTube. Well, there's, what is it, 4.2 litres to a gallon. And about 1.64 kilometres to a mile off the top of my head. So the Lexus, yeah, besides the fuel economy, it was a rescue. I bought it off a guy I know, and it was not in good condition. He had done some modifications to it and then unmodified it. And I think when someone puts the factory parts back into a vehicle, to sell it, let's just say there's less care and attention goes into that process. Especially when you trying to get rid of it, it's like, well, that can be somebody else's problem. So for instance, the stereo didn't work when I got it. The right rear wheel speed sensor was gone. It was destroyed. And so there was a lot of engine lights on the dashboard. And just one part, one sensor, the rear right wheel speed sensor. Because it didn't work, then for the cruise control won't work, and ABS wouldn't work, the stability control wouldn't work. The car was kind of like in a limp home mode. The See, that car just slowed down, backed off before the on-ramp, and then therefore my car started to slow down too because of the radar. Off-ramps are designed to slow down after you've left the motorway. Don't slow down on the motorway and then take the off-ramp. That is not good driving practice, so just don't do it. Mount Karora, dead ahead. I have a friend that lives just near the base of that at Pomona. I might give her a call later and see if she's home. Or maybe I'll text her later when I'm not driving and see if she's at home. Yeah. Was a rescue, have been fixing it up. As soon as I realized it was the wheel speed sensor that was causing all the issues, what else? It wouldn't go into first gear normally. You could force it into first gear by selecting manual, and after it would take off in second, you could then pull it back into first gear with the shifter. I couldn't even do it with the paddle on the steering wheel because it didn't even work. I don't know what the previous owner had done. I'm assuming, like, I don't know why. I'm trying to work out why he would have had to take the steering wheel out or anything, but the clock spring was broken, and therefore the wiring for the paddle shifters would work. It would work one way, but not the other, if I remember correctly. It's been a while now since I fixed it. But because of that one wire, there was a whole heap of stuff that just didn't work. And the clock spring and the wheel speed sensor. Once I fixed them, yeah, this thing's been so much fun to drive. I've done a couple other little bits and pieces to it. It's had some paint. I've taken it on the Thunderbolt run and taken it to the track a few times just to be able to open it up. I mean, the car's designed to do 250 plus Ks an hour. But we can't legally do that in Australia, so we just take it to the track, probably just drive it at 8/10, full throttle, but not mistreat it, but just give it a good drive. It's built for it. Cars that are not driven for the way they're designed to be built is terrible. But you've also got to do it the right way. So getting out on the track, fortunately, no ambient. I didn't have the ambient speaker, or what do you call it, microphone on that night. Actually, because it was terrible. Watching the footage back with no vehicle sounds was terrible. Bad me. So I fixed that. And sounds so much better with the ambient mic. The internet does seem to be a bit dodgy around here, even with the antenna out on the roof. I do think I remember it being not the best around here. Using the Telstra SIM today, so can't even blame Optus. I do. So, as I grow this channel, I have mentioned it already. There's another car broken down on the side of the road. Oh, is it smashed? Or something. Something's going on, but it is... Oh, yeah, that is crashed. That is munted. I want to give this car away to a member of the channel. Now, the problem with that is I don't have any members yet. And that's not anybody's fault, except that I need to have more subscribers. I don't have enough subscribers yet. Well, I mean, I actually do. I only need 500 subscribers, and I'm climbing my way up to 800, which is good. But for a channel like this, which only just started, we're going well, but we need more. So the first step is to get 1,000 subscribers. Once we got around 1,000 subscribers, I know that the watched hours are going to get up. And for those people who don't know or understand how YouTube works, it's the watched hours that are important for the analytics for YouTube. So the channel needs 4,000. So I'll say it again. It needs 3,000 watched hours within a 12-month period. So that would be if I was to live stream for an hour, and 3,000 people watch that live stream for that whole hour. Well, then, bam. Then it happens. Then I can activate the membership. Once I activate the memberships, then we can start looking at giving stuff away. And I have a few things to give away. Like, rather than sell them or whatever, we can give them away. And this Lexus is one of them. I also have a motorcycle sitting at home. It's practically brand new. And it ran out of rego not long ago. And I need to get it re-registered. But it's a little one-cylinder 250. It's called a Mutt. And it's cool. It's a cool little scrambler to go get your coffees on a Saturday, Sunday morning. Yeah, and then when I think about how I've customized it, I'm like, oh, I do like it. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think maybe if I put it up for grabs, it'll be either the bike or cash. And if whoever wins, it gets the cash. It takes the cash instead. Maybe one of the members who wins isn't a motorcycle rider. It's an awesome learner bike. I'll put it that way. It's definitely Lamb's. It's a great learner bike. And anyone around Australia would be happy to put it on a trailer and deliver it if someone chooses that they want to win that. Except for people in South Australia, because you guys can't enter the competitions with more than $5,000. But anyway, but I will have some memberships up for grabs as well. And we will go from there. But we need 3,000 watched hours. It's really hard. You guys out there that watch the channel, it's hard for you guys to quantify that. So the easiest way to quantify it is the more subscribers we have, the more people that are watching. The more people are watching, the closer we are to getting 3,000 watched hours. Terrible reception. Like I said earlier, if I see a car cruising up behind me, I will do what I can and let them through. The Dodge Ram behind them too. And, yeah, Starlink, there's another piece of technology that I could possibly use. Oh, the guy in the cruise behind me is headbanging. I don't know if you can see that, but he's headbanging to some heavy music there. His head is going, wow. He's banging. He's like slapping the steering wheel with his hands, and he's head banging. His hair's going everywhere. He's having a good Sunday afternoon. Is it Sunday afternoon yet? It is. Well, no. 11:53 a.m. It's still Sunday morning. He's head banging to some. I don't think he's head banging to Nana Muscuri. Put it that way. Maybe Taylor Swift. Not sure. But subscriptions. If you there's like 6 people out there watching this at the moment. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. That way you can jump on the live chat. This channel's only going to get better and better. It's only just in its infancy. I've only been doing it for like just over 3 months, and it's just going to get better and better. So we'll get better technology. We'll get a better setup so we have less issues with the broadband. Although you can't help what Telstra, Optus, and Vodafone can supply. It's always a little bit more difficult to upload than it is to download. But I am in a couple of weeks driving to Mount Isa, and it's a 2-day drive. YouTube goes black. I'm wondering. Whoop. If we're still around, we're still around. But YouTube just went black for a little bit, so. But we're still here. Anyway, I'm driving a work vehicle to Mount Isa from Brisbane in a couple of weeks. And I'm considering potentially getting Starlink. What? All right, so my front camera so we've been going for about 90 minutes, I'm going to assume. My front camera seems to do that, which is a GoPro, so I'll just double check and see where it is, if it's actually turned off or... Need to come back here. Right, so I just need to press this button, press this button, and we're back. All right. So I'm assuming there's a setting in the GoPro somewhere. Now it's plugged into power, so it's got full battery, but for some reason I think after about 90 minutes, it decides to turn itself off. Good on you, GoPro. Well, good on me for not knowing where the setting is to help fix that. All right, so I believe this is the start of the Gympie bypass. So we'll be passing to the east of Gympie as we head north. So that's in between Gympie city centre and the ocean. And so we'll go up to the north end of Gympie and we'll take the off-ramp and come back through Gympie. And then we'll start making our way south again. And we'll just, like I said, well, we'll know when we've done another 90 minutes because my GoPro will probably decide to turn itself off again. All right, so I'm assuming there's a setting in there that turns itself off after 90 minutes. All right, so there's a ute from Carina International Speedway. Does the Carina have an international speedway? Is that where like Archerfield Speedway ended up after its demise? I'm assuming Archerfield Speedway doesn't exist anymore. I think that guy had a cat or a dog on his lap. Had something white and furry. Anyway. Not entirely sure. As the stream buffers again. Come on, live stream. Come back. We're right near Gympie. There shouldn't be an issue with the internet here. Like, we're right next to a town centre. The internet should be awesome here. All right, I think this might be the kind of in the middle of Gympie. Like, you could go up there, turn, and go into Gympie that way. But we will go to the next. We'll go all the way along the bypass. A lot of people might not have actually been on this bypass yet. It's only brand new. As my screen goes black again. Might turn around and go to the Gold Coast. Now that it's pretty much midday. It is exactly midday. Might turn around, cruise through Gympie, pop back down the south side, and then just cruise all the way down to the Gold Coast. Maybe to Tweed Heads and do a U-turn there and then come back. That will be a fair day's drive, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the stream doesn't break at all. Right, so let's take the exit in 2 kilometres time. This will be the northern end of our drive. Let's see if we can fill 4 hours worth. Let's see if we can crack around the 4 hours mark. Let's see if we can go from Brizzy to the northern end of the Sunshine Coast, which is Noosa, but equivalent to Gympie. And then all the way down to New South Wales, into Tweed Heads, and then back. Let's see how long that'll take on a Sunday. All right. Let's follow the Colorado. I wonder where this will bring us out into Gympie. I wonder if we're at the northern end yet, or if, maybe we're not even, maybe it brings us out at the southern end. We'll see, we'll see. Gympie, for those who don't really know, famous for gold. So there was gold found in them there hills of the Sunshine Coast hinterland, and that's what put Gympie on the map. So, not that I've been to the tourist area in Gympie, or if I have, it was so long ago I can't remember. But I'll just wait till this guy turns, just because this guy on the left is pulling out. So. I do, if I remember correctly, my former flatmate used to work and then sometimes live at Rainbow Beach, and I believe this was the road. Obviously, it was on the signs before, but this was the road to get there because that bypass has only just opened. So this was the road to go from the old Bruce Highway out to Rainbow Beach. So this should pop us out at the north end of Gympie. Sorry, the southern end of Gympie, I should say. So there was probably a little bit to go on that bypass, and then pop in at the actual top end. Ah, this will do us. Gympie's Gympie. Doesn't matter if you pop in at the north end, the middle, or the southern end. They're not finding much gold here these days. But I will turn here. Let's turn here and make our way. Oh, SLR 5000. Maybe original, maybe not. Probably didn't see it on the camera because camera wasn't pointing that way. Which is why I definitely need to go with a 360 camera and stick it on the roof of the car and get some 360 vision. Oh, the old Subaru Forester. Yeah. I used to have two of those in that exact color. The green over GT silver. Interiors were exactly the same. The exteriors were exactly the same except for one major difference. One was auto and one was manual. But other than that, they were identical. Both built in 98, I believe. I bought mine the same day as my mate Luke. He bought his. He bought his up, I don't know, Mackay Way or something. It was the weirdest thing. I sent him a photo of my new Forester, new old Forester. And he sends me a photo of my Forester back until I realized that wasn't my one, that was his one. And that he'd bought one the exact same day that I had bought one. And then, I don't know exactly how long ago, like later, but I told him if you ever want to get rid of it, my girlfriend at the time couldn't drive manual, and it'd be cool if we had like twin Fozzies. I said, if you're ever going to sell it, let me know. And then I texted him out of the blue one day. I think it was like a Friday afternoon, and I was like, mate, how you going? And he goes, oh, I'm in Brisbane selling my Forester. And I was like, what? I said, let me know when you're going to sell it. I'll buy it off you. How much did you sell it for? He said, oh, I traded it in for like $1,000. And I said, oh, dude, I would have given you $1,000 for it today. So, red light. So, he says, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. He calls me back in 5 minutes and he goes, the guy I did the trade-in with says you can buy it off him. Just give him the $1,000. So he come and picked me up and we went and got it. And then I had two. That's pretty funny. I put the same wheels on both of them. They were both, you know, if you like your Forester GTs, then you're a bit of a Subaru fan, then lowering them an inch or two is pretty cool. But so they were the same height, same wheels, same paint, same interior. My girlfriend did not even know for about a week. She'd get in the passenger side, and like, I just swapped them out. She didn't even see, like I didn't have them both parked in the same spot. I hid my manual. I pulled put the auto in its place. We get down, jump in the car, we go for a drive. It took her a week of getting in and out of the car for a week before she realized it was auto, because she just didn't used to pay attention. She wasn't very situationally aware. And it took her about a week, and I just kept giggling to myself. What do you giggle about? No, nothing. Just life's good. Life's fun. Let's giggle. And then finally she sort of looks and she goes, "Did you put an automatic in this car?" And I'm like, well, not exactly. It's not like I just put an automatic gearbox in my car. And she's looking around, and it was identical inside. And she's looking around, she's like, "You put a manual in this car?" And I was like, no, sorry, automatic. "So you put an auto in this car?" I was like, "No." She's like, "It's auto." And I was like, "Yeah, it's auto. So this car's always been auto." She's looking around, she's going, "Is this not even the same car?" And I was like, "No, this is a different car." She was blown away. It took her a week to work it out. And then I went and grabbed my other one and had them sitting next to each other, and she didn't believe me. She's like, "No, you put an automatic in this car. I know you're good with cars. You put an auto in this car." And I'm like, "No, this is a different car." Just going, they both had sunroofs. I think they had sunroofs. No, they didn't. They were non-sunroof models. That's right. Because I wanted one with the sunroof, because the Forester sunroofs in the SF5 they're good. They're big. Oh, yes, please. It's important to make sure your girlfriend is situationally aware and not just have her head stuck in social media all of the time. Get in the car, just be on social media. Go hang out at home, into social media. Just constantly on the internet. Not even playing games. She wouldn't play games. Just always on social media. Go to her parents' place. We'd go in. I'd chat to her parents. She'd be on social media. We'd hang out for an hour or two, have dinner, and then we'd leave. She basically didn't even speak to her parents. Like, yeah, not very interactive. Unless, of course, I was on social media. Majestic. Oof, that's low. All right, so we're just popping out of the southern end of Gympie now. The old Bruce Highway. Before the bypass went in. I guess that's what they call it, the old Bruce. Yeah, look at that. It's on a sign over on the right there. Old Bruce Highway. Let's see if I can make it all the way to Tweed Heads without needing to go to the bathroom. As you can see, the dotted lines there have been blacked out. You might look just there. So a quick explanation is that TMR have decided to, instead of having left lane ends that they've blocked, they've either painted over the white lines or they've ground them off the road. And therefore the intersection changes from a left lane ends to a form one lane. And the difference is, left lane ends is you make a lane change, you get to the merge point, you make a lane change, you indicate, and you make a lane change from the left lane to the right lane. But and you need to give way to the cars in the in the right lane. However, if it's Form 1 lane, therefore there is no merging. You just drive straight into the lane that is now 1 lane, not 2, and the car that is ahead has the right of way, and the car that is behind needs to yield and give way. So, and for some reason, I don't know if they're changing them all to Form 1 lane from left lane ends. I don't think that's the case, but there's going to be, obviously, they've changed a lot. There is a lot of places where the white lines I actually haven't seen them being painted over that much. That's sort of one of the only ones that I've seen where the white lines have been painted black. Therefore, those lines aren't there. However, they are there because they're just black now, not white. It can be confusing for some people who don't know or understand the difference between Form 1 lane and left lane ends. So there's a bit of a touristy spot around here. There's, I think it talks about the gold, barbecue areas, parklands. There's a building just up on the left here. It's now Lincraft, but I remember that used to be, I'm pretty sure it was that building. No, maybe it's further up. There used to be Corvette Australia. Used to be, I'm assuming they sold more than Corvettes. Was it that building? Was that? I thought it was up here. It could be up the next hill. Might be the next hill. I remember Corvettes Queensland. Did I say Corvettes Australia? Corvettes Queensland. And I'm assuming they sort of sold all sorts of American imports. Anyway, that was a long time ago. They don't exist anymore, unfortunately. Wow, the car behind me. Now, I went through an absolute amber light where I was 50-50 on can I stop safely or not, and the car behind me absolutely dead set went through a red light. And accelerated to get through the red light. Like, that was just either douchey decision or incompetence. Oof, M2, nice. No, I'm not going that way. It's weird. There was like 2 lanes into 1 lane there, but there was no signs to say Form 1 lane or anything. Or left lane ends. Didn't see. Well, I mean, if there is, I didn't see it. Victorian number plate in front. Tourists, maybe. Maybe they've moved up here now. Victorians are renowned for moving to Queensland. Not a lot of them stop in New South Wales. Most of them drive straight through New South Wales and move to Queensland. There is, just up here on the right, there'll be a Herbie. There it is, dead ahead up on the hill. Herbie just to the right there. Bit sun faded now. Still got the stripes there. Anyway, used as a sign for a pub, I believe. It's definitely got the word beer on it somewhere. Well, I don't know if we might, I don't know if I will go to the Gold Coast. I might stop in. Let's drive to Pomona. We'll drive into Pomona and I might go visit my friend for a little while. And then maybe we will continue, we'll do another stream later. So let's drive a nice little lazy drive into Pomona. So just as we go under the road, this is the southern end of the new bypass. We'll go back up onto the Bruce Highway and join up to where we left off about 20-something minutes ago. All right, 110. Thank you. Just gave a wave to the caravan that gave me some time and space behind me, so that was nice. So he pulled over in the right, gave some space for us vehicles that were on the on-ramp. So I gave him a bit of a wave. I know caravanners appreciate that. Hey, Middo. I know Middo, my moderator's not on the stream today because he's, I think he might be in Mackay or up there somewhere with his caravan. He was mentioning that it was interesting going with another couple or another group of people that are brand new, and the difference between seasoned caravanners and new caravanners. So I'm definitely a non-caravanner, although I did go to Victoria a few 6 weeks ago and pick up a caravan with Jesse. Right, so 22 kilometres till the exit we're going to take. And hopefully my friend hasn't had lunch yet and I'll go have lunch with her. I'm not sure she even knows about the live stream. Otherwise, she could literally watch me driving. Ah, what? Why did that come up? Just, the technology. Don't know why that Sunny says Sunny Coast car meet. Bleh. Why did that say that? Basically, I thought I changed, before I started the live stream, I thought I changed the title to, that was last weekend. Anyway, I'll finish the stream and I'll be able to tidy that up. I'll be able to change it. So we get back up to 110. That's better. But if she clicks on the link, she'll be able to see me driving to... I won't drive all the way to her place. I'm not that cruel. Otherwise, the stalkers will be out in force. But we'll drive into Pomona. We'll end the stream there. You know what? Probably, it depends how busy it is, but there's this awesome... Is it a gin distillery at Pomona? It's pretty awesome. Been there a few times. And... probably doing a good lunch right now, so it could be quite busy. Could be quite popular right now. So, I can hear some feedback in my ears. Hopefully it's not coming through on the stream, but don't know where that's coming from. Slick WRX chick. Ha ha ha. Oh, is that is that your handle? I didn't know what your YouTube name was. Yes, we do. I do want to go out for lunch, thank you. Let's do it. Oh, there's Matilda again. I was just talking about her before. She's such a cute kangaroo. Anyway, so that's where I'm at, the Mary Valley Link Road at the moment. So not far away. Like I said, I'm going to end the stream up in town before I head down. Unless you want to meet me in town. You can text. You can type in the live stream. I'll slick WRX chick. Yes, you are. Can't wait to find out how what's been happening in life since you and I caught up last. But I'm glad you're home. Anyway, hopefully if the live stream doesn't glitch out between now and Pomona, like it started glitching out before. There's Mount Karora right ahead. Beautiful mountain. We've climbed that a few times. Excellent view from up there, looking east. Looking west as well. Like right up on the beautiful. Definitely heading south in the winter is the sun's not in your eyes. The sun's pretty low on the horizon through winter. Obviously the same for the northern hemisphere, but it would be in the southern sky, not in the northern sky. So it's all backwards up there. The traffic is awesome at the moment. I'll go and have lunch with my friend, my slick Rexy chick, and then I'll see what time I might live stream back to Brizzy, especially if the traffic's crap. Now, it's not school holidays anymore. We have been out of school holidays for 2 weeks for Queenslanders and a week now for New South Welsh people that come up to visit. So, however, like I said, there was a Victorian number plate in front of me before, so not sure about the Victorians. A stopped car on the other side, but it's already been reported on Waze. I can see that. How good's Waze? 10 Ks for the turn off. I said 10 more Ks and then we'll go for a short little, beautiful little drive to Pomona. I could have got off the last exit and taken the, well, you could call it a service road, I guess. But the, I'm assuming again it's the old highway. Now what to do? Do I let the little blue rocket coming up behind me? What is it, a Corolla? We'll let the Corolla come past first. They're getting into some food. A couple of country boys in their hats, their cowboy hats. It's weird watching them driving a Corolla and not a Land Cruiser or a 79 series. Beautiful part. I can understand why my friends moved up this way. Beautiful part of southeast Queensland. Not too close to Brisbane, but close enough that if you need to get there, it's I don't know, hour and a half away. Depends if you're ride a motorcycle like a delinquent or not. So apparently there's a car on the side of the road up here. I mean, there's a proper... Oh, no, it's on this side, so... Well, if you're going to break down, you could have broken down in the actual rest area. Or at least pushed your car back in over there. So many people on the roads have no idea. Nice indicator. What is that? Holden thing? That's not the old Holden Cruise, is it? What is that thing? Oh, that's right. It's a Trax. A Holden Trax. Remember they used to have like a cruise that was like a, and then